But it is a coincidence how many four days after his assassination, an internal state department presents a list of diplomatic options. It warns that loudly condemning the coup, quote, as US Air Force to protest too much. This was used in his own argument, warning that expressing normal diplomatic outrage over the murder of an African head of state might actually make the United States look guilty. This is not because they were guilty, but because literally everything they have done leading up to that moment made American guilt and not too much confusion in the world. Even Dinka's own his squad borrowed the vocabulary of Western conservatives. When asked why they moved against Hitler, the protesters used a very specific phrase. They accused him of both going communist. Now, if you look at each of these facts in isolation, they prove nothing. They are just fragments of decades later, many of those state departments were reformed. The mountains right before the assassination were finally different. So what I'm saying is the US official the British Foreign Office staff from Lagos sitting in dusty folders marked ex-Wilson's file at the National Archives in Kew were eventually opened up transactions. But if you go through those archives today looking for a smoking gun, there is no receipt for the extension. There is no strike for the but what you will eventually find is a cold calculating math in the empires perfectly positioned to benefit from the African. We may never know the exact step-by-step mechanism of what's happening in the shrines to London, Washington, and Europe. It is January 15, 1966. 2 a.m. The city of Lagos is completely asleep. But under cover of darkness, armed soldiers and goes up to the White House. Their orders are incredibly specific and rules. The highest ranking soldier in the entire military, President Frank he's out on the hills and at the boat. While even he is found in the water, the meticulously planned nationwide assassination plot is unfolding across time and the world. Soldiers are literally driving prime ministers upon one another. The fisheries waiting, the finance minister is being pulled from Rome, 500 miles to the north in Kaduna. The premier of the northern region is about to be murdered in his own house. Sunrise, almost every single place is freedom. And the ultimate target is every major military target. You need to tell what you neutralize. Except one. But once he finally gets one, it kills. He does the exact opposite of what he would expect. He doesn't run. He doesn't hide. He gets in his car and drives directly toward the bonfire. At Kata Bridge, he hits every time by Captain Obo, one of the corporals. What he experiences getting in the face. His finger is literally on the trigger, but he freezes. He doesn't shoot. That single moment of hesitation changes the course of African history. I don't The ones who has valid blood and truth, he completely crushes the cool character. But the very next night, the terrified, surviving politicians do the only thing they can think of. They hand him control of the government and he's grateful. At 2 a.m., this man was at the top of a military chief. A day later, he is the absolute ruler.
Yo, what up, guys? Good day. Forgive me, I just came in. How are you doing? How is it from your end? Let me check the channel. Yo, bro, Digital Danny. What's good? What's good? Nah, man. I be trading gold. I'm trading gold. SAUSD.
Growing up, boys sent to live with his older sister, a young man. Her husband is a man named Theophilus Johnson. He's a Iranian diplomat. This man is educated, he's working, he's refined. The young boy is so mesmerized by this brother in law that he makes a profound decision. He adopts his name. Thomas,
Yo.
Omonapre, and
What up, guys?
Johnson and
Price failed to pick my order. Yo, sorry for the network. Yo, I missed this entry. Yeah, I'm waiting for price here. Digital Danny, this is gold XAUXD. That's what I'm trading right now. Are you a fellow trader too, or you're new, or you're OG2 in the game? No. So
November 1960, the Congo was completely collapsing. Belgium former colony has imploded into a brutal civil war. The United Nations crumbles a massive peacekeeping force and Nigeria sends a battalion. Leading them is Lieutenant Colonel Johnson and Williams. By December, the chaos starts. Austrian medical units is captured by Congolese rebels.
since yesterday, price has been giving me. Look at where the money is, and this is where I want to transact. But price has been finding it hard to reach there, so guy, I miss this move, I miss this one, and now, but I know price is gonna come on threaten some people here, so that's where we get in. So we gotta be patient for our entries. I already have my limit order set. If you just come in. Yo. I have limit orders. It's coming. What's happening with DXY?
By February 1965, the Rosie shatters the ultimate glass ceiling.
I know if our entry should have been triggered by now. God damn it. QVB card is active. What? QVP card. Bro, something's happening to the guy. Gold is buying crazy. What's happening on oil? God damn it. There's liquidity in the market right now. Market is active. Our GBP card is active. I think we would have to stay away from USD. It's coming. There's liquidity coming.
His middle name is literally Kadima. He is the Nigerian identity card is made fresh. And you have Major Emmanuel Ifejima, also Igbo, but he is a superstar, famous across the entire continent as the first black athlete to win the gold medal at an international sporting event.
What just happened these days?
And then
Did any news come out? Do we have any news out? What just happened? Why is the USD gaining some setup? I wanna move from my gold positions because oil is dropping. EXY is dropping too. Yeah, so I wanna stay out of the way of sellers for now. Yo, I wanna get out of the way. This guy is coming. Something is happening. Let's see how it goes. But there's something happening with USD, which new district business, Atlanta Fed District. So I got limit orders, and I'm having new information about like USD losing strength right now. Yeah. So I don't know. Let's leave it. I'm not looking for much. Let's see how it goes. British intelligence files confirm what happens next. Holding a submachine gun. So you see what gold does? It's coming for liquidity around here, so that liquidation now behind our entry, right? It's seeking liquidity here, but now I'm seeing new info, like the DXY is dropping. I don't know why. Is there a news or something? Is there a news? Let me check. What's happening? What's happening? Why the sudden volatility? Though I think New York is just popping up right now. So I am going to be staying long in this trade. From what I've been seeing, 150. I'll be targeting around here for 6 entries. Row. I don't like what I'm seeing, but let's see. Let's see, guys. Something is happening. Wow. Let's see. Come on, boy. Yo, the DXY falling, bro. Here's this losing strength. Why? So this is our sell idea, yeah? Yeah, 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 yeah.
He didn't even have
I want to
hospital
reduce this
or
position.
he was killed because reporters viewed him as a threat.
I'm seeing new info. Let me see how
The
many
average
entries I got.
story was a post-coup fabrication designed
I
to make the
got
one
how
evil
many
death
entries?
look accidental and nice when
I
every death
got
was surgical and deliberate.
5,
Now, if the
11.
economist
I
was
bet.
5 euros,
So
1
limit
city,
5,
1
11.
that lightning, but no evil
5,
death was ever
11.
killed. The president
5,
of the
12.
country and even
2
one is
entries.
conveniently out of the
And
country.
6, 6,
The
6, 6
eastern
at the top.
premier, also Igbo,
Yeah, 2
was
entries is
arrested
fair.
but left alive. Reporters went from the
Let's see, but the US is losing strength. That's why I'm losing. It is in my position.
But when the
Come on.
sun came up,
Come
the
on.
body stood erect and forceful. Did the rest of the country
Come on, boy. Pick me up.
it looked like an epic
Pick me
march.
up.
This
So what do you do in this position? Do you execute manually
suddenly found
or
himself charged up.
you allow it to reach your limit?
Supposed to survive the night,
So you see, I did win. I was in.
and with
Me,
99
I'll just target 150 pips. So I got down 2 places. I wanted 4 so that it would just be
it is the evening of January 16th,
600 once. Come on, boy. It's not wanting to pick my entry, bro.
This man had an absolute shock. Their prime minister is missing. His body won't even be discovered for several days. Their closest aides have been slaughtered. The country has no functioning government.
Yo,
And standing right outside the door, unknown
it doesn't
soldiers.
want to pick my entry.
The constitution has a protocol for this movement.
Come on, boy.
The president is out of the country on a medical trip. The Senate president wants
Pick me up, bro.
is technically the acting head of state.
So why this is happening? There's a whole lot of like stop losses here, yeah. There's a whole lot of stop losses here, so that's why like this is happening to peak liquidity, then move to the downside. That's why we are banking on with our sell entries. So you see, maybe I would have been out by now in peak two. But something's happening to the US dollar. That was why I reduced my position. There's a sudden drop. I don't know if it's a retracement. Actually, good. DXY has been on a level of resistance. And DXY is looking bearish from where it is right now. Yo.
It doesn't matter that you actively cross the code. The optics are damning. The dead are almost entirely northern and western. The survivors are almost entirely positive.
Come on, boy.
The man stepping into the presidency is people.
So got GBP card active.
But they don't even suffering this moment.
Yo,
The power hungry dictator says in June.
what happened? Some liquidity.
The highest ranking soldier in the nation actually breaks down in tears. He looks at the cabinet ministers and flatly admits, quote, I am ignorant of our government. He tells them, the junior officers, that is, the boys, are heavily armed, adamant, and waiting anxiously right outside. The man taking absolute power is literally telling the men handing it to him that he does not want it and he does not know what to do with it. It doesn't matter. Every government office is locked. Nobody can find the keys. Nobody can even find official stationery. So, the former handover of Africa's most populous nation is hastily scribbled onto a scrap of paper. Once the paper is signed, the ones moves fast. He suspends the constitution. He dissolves the cabinet. He establishes the Supreme Military Council and appoints military governors to oversee the 4 distinct regions of the country. He is building a government the only way he knows how, through a rigid chain of command. Over in the Western region, he appoints Lieutenant Colonel Adekunle Fajiri. Fajiri is Yoruba. a Roman Catholic from Antiquity. To Ironsi, Fajri represents everything a Nigerian officer should be. The man puts the uniform above his tribe. Fajri will run the West with absolute
Bro,
discipline, while the North begins to
I'm
run.
seeing some bullish momentum building on gold.
He will be the last person to
I
ever
know,
say
man.
anything. But with Ironsi's next set of decisions,
I'm seeing some bullish momentum
both his
building.
character and his ultimate value.
So for ourselves,
Ironsi is
when it
desperate
triggers, we ain't gonna.
country that he is not part of some grand evil conspiracy. So there is a highly calculated, incredibly dangerous one. He deliberately places northern officers in the most powerful, intimate, and sensitive positions around him. He appoints the northerner, Lieutenant Colonel Yakubu I, as his chief of army staff, handing him the keys to the military. Then he starts his own personal inner circle bodyguard detail with northern soldiers, including a young lieutenant named William Wake. This is a man trying to prove by putting his own life and his entire military directly into the hands of the very people who suspect him most. And he's doing all of this to prove that he doesn't see ethnicity. He believes the uniform denies the law. The country Iransi has just inherited has already made up his mind. They are
Bro,
not judging him by what
I'm
he
seeing
does.
some.
They are
I
judging
wanna
him
check
by
what's up. Is there any
the
news
shadow of
there?
715 has attached itself to him, and no matter how many northern soldiers he surrounds himself with, that shadow may
Let me
slowly.
check.
Now, when you think of Nigerian corruption today, you probably think of oil, petrol,
So we're thinking in a dilemma if we should hold on for the sale yet.
one version of
Or
At this moment, oil is basically a rounding error, accounting for just 2.42% of the nation's GDP. So, what is the actual engine of the economy? Well, farms, cocoa in the West,
yo,
mountains of granules in the
I don't
North,
wanna stay in the front of Go right now.
agriculture is generating nearly 60%.
Story is changing, bro.
And all of that unintentional wealth flows through a massive centralized bottleneck in the
Yeah.
regional monetary flows. The pitch is quite simple. This government-run movement buy the crops from local farmers on the cheap, sell them
Let's wait for confirmation
and use the massive
on this
profits
guy.
to build national infrastructure.
Okay.
When Iran's finally gets
Regardez celle-là, va.
opens roads,
Ça commence à non chop the next finish.
this public development
Après business be like. Après only local government and Niger state also local government.
Let's wait for confirmation, guys. I'm seeing some crazy move on gold, on oil, but this thing is in our point of interest.
Forex trading. So this new brokerage firm owner is like a year.
So that was why I got out. I'm seeing some crazy momentum, and at the same time, this account,
500 to 1,000. Yeah, they are
bro, seeing crazy momentum, crazy buy side momentum, bro. What is happening in the market? I think I might wanna sell here, but I don't wanna. Let's just leave it. I'm seeing crazy. Let's just look at. We don't know what's happening because this volatility is just kicking in right now. But this is a good sell zone. 20 is a good sell zone, but I don't have any confirmation yet. 20 is a good sell zone, but I don't have confirmation, and I don't know what's happening. Else,
But it's only just the railways. Across every single parastatal, we find things to identify. Government ministers were forming phantom companies and using their unchecked influence to hand themselves massive state contracts. You want to set the trap. You have the data, you have the proof, but you want to never see the
Yo,
you will never get the chance to prosecute a single one of them. Because
you dey on buy or you dey sell again? You dey buy or you dey sell?
That place where you buy from, dot. I pay penny order. I should have one after the food.
Kai.
I mean, I want house. That time when you say make I start, but now there
in
you
the
go.
year of 1966, the country is very
Give her this good back. Where you dey go fear for my give her. Do back.
If you don't recover,
I'm not going to sell kusa kusa the one. Yes, sales for.
yeah, here is a good sales.
I don't even touch there already.
Yeah,
You have to remember, Iran is a military man. He thinks in terms of chain of command and logistics. In his mind, fixing this isn't complicated. It's not that. You unify the command structure.
I'm looking for
You stop
confirmation.
where a person is from, and you just put the absolute best person in Nigeria. You want a pure merited person. On paper, it is an
But news day market, news day ne, one kind crazy volatility. What? It's crazy. Yeah.
But because of how the British engineered the colony decades now, they know that the system actually locked out with the Western education system.
What's happening? There's one crazy volatility in the market right now. I say crazy volatility in the market right now.
Yeah.
Yo, I wouldn't want to sell gold right now.
The sole permanent secretary who drafted the policy, a man named Francis C. Mokedi, is the entire circle of advisors pushing for his immediate release.
Come on. This buy no be hell. So guys, you see how we avoided some else, right? Because ideally here we want to sell, but right now I'm seeing the DXY falling. Let me show you guys so that you understand how I think, for those of you that like, but this account I like forgot. This is my account. This guy has hit stop loss, bro. Bloody me. My US oil position too. AUDJPY. AUDJPY should be active right now. Let's see. AUDJPY. But with the way US losing strength, AUD energy. AUDJPY active. So let's let this cook. But let me show you guys what happened that made us aborted that mission. But we're still looking for sales. Next level of liquidity. Bro, as direction change, gold is looking giga bullish from what I'm seeing right now. Can you see? Let me show you. So you see, I forgot to about this sale on my other account. But no problem. So we'll just wait and see how this body closes. Here is a good sell zone. But I wouldn't even want
that by the time
to
we
be
are
selling
finished,
right now, man.
nothing like the east will remain in the map of
I
Nigeria.
don't know. I don't want to sell right now.
The targets are highly specific. People's civilians,
Because gold is
traders
coming
who are
for
claiming the not peacefully for decades,
blood. People selling.
entire
It's
families,
coming for blood right now.
collected by later
And you don't want to be in
and
front of the blood, bro.
This violence has
Gold is so yeah. Let me show you guys what made me like remove my limit order. But I forgot to remove it here in my other account because I'm live and I was thinking live and I forgot. I got hit. I got hit on this account, but no problem. On my other account, I bought it. God damn it.
estimates of the people then range from 8,000 to 50,000.
I'm hitting. Let me show you guys. I got hit on this account with those limit order. Can you see? Let me show you. Can you see? I got hit. I set limit, so I'm managing like 2 accounts right now. So this one I'm using to live stream because where I removed the stop orders, but I forgot. It was when because I was then I remember that I had this. Well, no problem. We're going to get it back. Like look at oil. Oil too is dropping. You see, that was one of the reasons skeptical about ourselves. This guy is dropping, and this guy too. This guy, DXY, dollar index is dropping hard. So that was what made me skeptical about like the sell idea we had because when this guy goes up, that's when DXY has strength to come down against the US dollar. Immediately I started seeing some reaction of them. This resistance has been looking like you want to get broken, but it's paying off. So we don't know. If this guy is bearish for a bit, then gold is gonna spike like crazy to the upside. So what do we do? And it's looking like there's a change of structure right now on gold. So me now seeing this, we'll start positioning because if we look at US oil, like we don't know. I don't know. DXY. DXY is at a resistance. So we don't want to be with the sellers right now. There's a whole lot of sell-side liquidity that price is going to be coming from. Most people from what has been happening are like, sell. So for the gold now, what would we do next now that we have established this? So this is a tricky thing. But from the smaller time frame, there's a change of structure. Now we want to start positioning for the buys or something. So I don't know. See, let me give you the story of like these are zones. Who's on this live with me right now?
That evening, Firozi and Fajri sit down to dine at government house right here in Ibadan. This isn't just any building, it is the absolute seat of power in the Western region.
Who's with me here on this live?
Where the British used to run from. It projects total neutrality, total safety. We're 60 miles away with that barracks of America. The spark is about to be built. There's a 23-year-old platoon commander stationed in that American battalion who is quietly preparing for the longest military night of his life. His name is Lieutenant Momi. Hundreds of miles north in Kaduna, another young officer, Lieutenant Ibrahim Babangida, is receiving his final instructions. The plan they are executing is supposed to be a simultaneous nationwide strike. The objective is brutal and absolute. Seize the barracks, arrest all
Gold is looking hella bullish. So me right now, what I want to do is start adjusting to what is happening right now. I want to start adjusting why two recent highs have been taken out by the body close. Though it hasn't body close 1 hour yet, but 15 minutes it has. So it's surely taking some stop losses right now.
Now, the absolute most chilling detail of this entire night
I'm looking to sell.
is what is happening right inside government house. The man who is actually going to the arrest of the head of state isn't marching on the compound from miles away. He isn't planning to stop.
I'm not seeing kind of confirmation I want to see. That's why I'm not pulling the trigger as but right now it's no entry that's our problem. Let's position. Question is has there been a change? A structure. 15 minutes. What's happening?
The dinner ends, unaware of the ghost moving through the house, gradually and begins to finally retire for the week. The calendar turns and January
Story is changing now. The story about our idea
it all starts by
is changing right now.
60 miles away from the quiet grounds of government house in Ohio. There's a garrison in Delta. The additional critical is supposed to wait for a heavily crowded signal. Instead, a group of northern non-commissioned officers jumped the gun. Led by soldiers like Sergeant Sabu Cole, they violently burst into the officers' mess. Weapons raised, shouting, quote, "Hands up, gentlemen." The garrison commander, the sheriff there, was brought. Then, a completely random accident changes the course for the entire country. In the chaos, an Igbo officer manages to escape the ambiguous environment. He gets to a phone and frantically calls army headquarters in Lagos. By sheer magic coincidence, the phone is answered by the duty officer of the shift, Lieutenant Nobu Nathan. Nathan is one of the core conspirators. He doesn't send help. Instead, he takes this panicked phone call as the official signal that the meeting has been held. The message spreads like a virus. Barracks by barracks, garrison by garrison. Across the country, northern soldiers mobilize.
Bro, the story is changing fast. I swear. Story is changing fast right now.
This is not a clean circle coordinated coup. This is a lifeline. Some units are acting on strict orders, others are just acting on terrifying rules.
Our bias is changing now. So the trend has turned bullish from what I've been seeing right here. So our sell bias, but I'm trying to really understand that gold has been bullish. The buys started from here.
Major Danjuma gathers a squad of heavily armed soldiers and marches straight out the stairs. He walks into the head of state's private
Right now,
He stands at attention. He salutes.
our bias is changing from bearish
Now, think about the sheer paradox of this exact moment.
to bullish.
The 27-year-old major is saluting his commander-in-chief. Military protocol and military routine occupying the exact same
That's 100 is going from.
salute and death sentence. Dignified in the same place. Lieutenant Colonel Adekunle Fajimi, the military governor of the West and Burundi post, immediately intervenes. He looks at Danjuma and asks for a single guarantee. If Burundi surrenders peacefully, will he be kept alive? Danjuma gives his word, and so the head of state of Nigeria slowly walks down the ground stairs of government house, stepping directly into the hands of his so many soldiers. And that is when all control is lost. In the courtyard, a panicked soldier launches for Charlie. Charlie is a carved wooden crocodile sword and stick. Ronzi has carried everywhere since his heroics in Congo. The soldier wants it because he genuinely believes it contains.
I'm trying to understand what's happening,
He believes that
but
as long as
trend
the
is
soldier
changing
is
bullish.
that carved wood,
There's liquidity up onto this.
Danjuma steps between them, shouting both, I said no, there's nothing.
To sell here.
Feels completely gone. They aren't taking orders from young officers anymore. The soldier violently strikes Danjuma, shoving him out of the way. Another snatches the crocodile from Jones's hands. What happens next is witnessed by multiple people, but the core facts are universally consistent. General Ironsi and Governor Fajri are violently stripped of their uniforms. They are beaten in death. They are shoved into the back of a military Land Rover, driven by enlisted men, flanked by German officers. But right before they are dragged away into the dark, in the sheer chaos of that courtyard,
Structure change.
you see, Fajri is Yoruba. They told him this isn't his fight. The Northern soldiers have absolutely no problem with him. They told him
There's
he
mad
can
momentum on
stay,
wood.
he can leave. Fajri refuses.
Wanna be with the buyers, not sellers right now. Who's on this live with me?
This man came to his house. He slept under his roof. He is his guest and he is under his protection. To Fajri, the ancient code of hospitality is older than Nigerian military. It is older than the British Empire. It is older than any of them. He looks at the soldiers and makes a stand. If you take Ronzi, you take him too. The Yorubas were chosen to die on evil death in a country that is actively tearing itself apart because it cannot see past the differences between Yoruba and Igbo, North and South, them and us. In one single act of rebellion, Fajri's sacrifice completely reduced the toxic ethnic logic driving every other character in this story. And it is arguably the absolute noblest moment in the history of the Nigerian military. And it happens in this absolute first night. The Lakuba speeds south down the dark Ibadan Ibudo. It drives past sleeping villages, past rice farms. It finally pulls into a dense bush garden near a town called Lakuba. Major Danjuma, who claims he was pushed aside during the courtroom drama, does not agree with him. Historical consensus backs him up. He wasn't at the execution. In fact, no commission officer has ever been definitively identified as the man who killed Ashura. So that quiet crime, Johnson, Aguirre, and Adekunle Fajri are executed by heavy machine gun fire. Their bodies are dumped into shallow graves, face down in death. But the Ironsi story doesn't end in that death. His body was moved 3 times. First, a shallow, unmarked grave dug by his killers in Lampo. Second, an isolation and quiet burial at the military cemetery in Ghana. Third, 6 months later, in January 27, 1967, his body is finally flown home to the east for a massive state funeral in Umaga, complete with full military honors. The military leaders of the east stand over his casket. He has finally come home 6 months late, and he is buried before an audience of a region that in exactly 4 months' time will violently declare its independence, plunging the entire country into a catastrophic civil war. On July 30th, 1966, exactly 1 day after the assassination, Nigeria doesn't have a government anymore. The head of state, Aguirre, is dead. Across the country, modern soldiers have seized the barracks. Igbo officers are being hunted.
Don't sell gold right now.
Exact moment. The question isn't
Gold is very
who
aggressive.
Nigeria. The question is whether Nigeria is even going to exist. Inside the Kenya military cantonment in Lagos, the surviving senior officers are
World is aggressive. I want to buy wood, but the retracement of this.
It is uncompromising and it has a very simple proposal. The North needs to secede. Leave Nigeria, let the East and the West sort out their own mess. But then, right in the middle of this incredibly volatile
Something is happening.
assembly, two gentlemen
But it's normal movement, Sean.
Sir Francis Collins Brooks, the British High Commissioner, and Elder Masters, the United States of America. Now, keep Collins Brooks in mind. You see, just months earlier, when the elected civilian government was collapsing and begged Britain for help, this exact diplomat said his hands were tied. There was nothing he could do. But today he does something. Standing alongside top Nigerian civil servants, these foreign diplomats laid down the law. The US and the UK will actively oppose the breakup of the agreement. No foreign aid, no national permission, no support whatsoever for the breakaway Muslim states. And then the technocrats pull out the map to reveal what these officers are missing. If they not succeed, they become a landlocked country, totally cut off from the sea and the wealthy south. There will be a complete bankrupt and ruin. Britain's calculus here isn't complicated. It is about oil. Shell BP, which is partially owned by the British government, is pumping out around 367,000 barrels of crude oil every single day. Most of that is coming from the eastern region. So if Nigeria fractures into a bunch of ethnic countries, British investments are at catastrophic risk. Contracts get voided, concessions get renegotiated, billions in British capital gets thrown.
Yo,
The British did exactly nothing to save
I don't want to be selling wood right now.
He did nothing to protect a British strange general, but he intervened decisively to stop the Northern secession. Because Britain's red line was never
I'm seeing a crazy momentum.
it was always about making
I
sure
don't want to be selling gold.
as a safe
Anything that has to do with sell.
This
No,
was
no.
a geopolitical reality. The Northern soldiers look at the reality now. They back down. The secession plan is scrapped. But this sets the stage for the much deeper crisis. Because while they drop the idea of leaving, they do not drop the violence against their eastern brothers. And that is the true tragedy of the story. You see, Iran's genuinely believe that if he trusted his life to northern soldiers, if he could
29.
travel lines, if he judged his men solely on competence and not where
We'll have limit order.
that the country would somehow
Yo,
the same way we saw it. It was wrong.
I don't want to be selling anything that has to do with wood.
A Yoruba officer named Adekunle Fajiri. When the Bosnians came for the
I hope I don't really.
stepped aside. Instead, he chose to die in the bush there in Nigeria, right next to the Igbo general. He did it because they believed the bond of the uniform, a sacred duty between the host and his guest, was stronger than the bond of blood and tribe. He won't use Nigeria, a Nigeria where your identity is a choice and not a trap. Dying in that history. But for one brief, incredibly brave moment, Fajiri proved that such a country actually exists. Nigeria has spent the last 60 years fighting to figure out if that version of the country was even real. And the most brutal chapter
Sorry, I'm eating, guys. Come and join me.
by the very next man who inherits the wings of the
I haven't had breakfast since. Bro. You dey buy am, no?
Sir, sir. I said we don't be that for scalpel. I love the wait for sell there. Go buy them.
With the second highest
Go buy wait to make it keep fast as
the Nigerian Civil War
So now,
was the Biafran War.
what we will be waiting for if we wanna trade this guy. It's like this.
537.46 and it sells on to 45, 47.4 negotiation.
Forced to prevent the secession of the self-proclaimed Republic of Biafra, which was led by General Chukwuemeka Ojukwu. To fully understand the root cause of this brutal conflict, we need to go all the way back to the very beginning. Upon gaining independence from Great Britain in 1916, the newly formed Nigerian Republic was greatly divided as its three largest ethnic groups struggled to live in harmony. Beyond the more obvious distinctions like language, clothing, and marriage customs, Nigeria's three main ethnic groups also have fundamental differences in values and worldviews, which have been developed over the many centuries leading up to the colonial era and the formation of the Nigerian state. The Igbos, who represented about 60 to 70% of the population of the southeast, were mostly Christians who, in the centuries before the colonial era, had lived in relatively egalitarian societies. Although most Igbo towns and villages were headed by movements known as Isis, the decision-making process within Igbo communities was actually quite democratic, as it involved general assemblies composed of title holders and other respected members of Igbo society. Status was acquired through one's ability to solve societal issues, and respect was given primarily to those who had acquired wealth, as opposed to those who had simply inherited it. The character of the folklore in the book Things Fall Apart by renowned Nigerian author Chinua Achebe was in many ways the perfect illustration of the uniquely Igbo vision of the self-made man. The Igbo's particular appreciation for wealth creation through hard work is undoubtedly the main reason why many of Nigeria's champions of industry have been of Igbo ancestry. By contrast, the majority Muslim Hausa Fulani, which represented about 65% of the northern population, have lived for many years in feudal societies in which large working class populations were ruled by small theocratic elites composed of emirs and sultans. As their political leaders often doubled as religious leaders, Oriental submission to the will of the political establishment was not simply a civic duty, but a religious one. Very much unlike in Igbo societies, there was nothing particularly odd or shameful about the man aspiring to live a modest life as a farm worker, craftsman, or a nomadic cattle herder. But contrary to commonly held prejudices, the Hausa Fulani were not in any way lazier or inherently less engineering than their southern counterparts. They simply had a deeper appreciation for religious discipline and had a more socially conservative worldview. However, there is no denying the fact that while the unquestioning submissiveness of modern societies to the theocratic establishment guaranteed internal stability and order, they also meant that the North was a lot less economically vibrant. Secular education in favor of Islamic education. To the extent of Nigeria's North-South divide, some studies estimated that as of Nigeria's independence in 1960, northern Nigeria had an English literacy rate of just 2%, compared to the southeast, which had an English literacy rate of 19.2%. The Yorubas, which formed about 75% of Nigeria's southwestern population, were in many ways a halfway house between the Igbos and the Hausa Fulani, both in terms of their religious affiliation and their political history. Although also majority Christian, they nevertheless had significant populations of Muslims as well as followers of the ancient Yoruba religions. In simple terms, the traditional Yoruba political structure was basically less autocratic than the Hausa Fulani, but not as democratic as the Igbo. For centuries, Yoruba societies were ruled by kings known as Obas, who governed in close consultation with chiefs, priests, and priestesses. Contrarily, the Yorubas were quite similar to the Igbo in their appreciation for individual tribe and ambition. However, the Yorubas tended to turn up the emphasis on excellence in the arts and academia, as opposed to pure industry and wealth creation. Many often point to the Yorubas' deep appreciation of the arts as the reason why many of Nigeria's most prominent cultural icons, such as Afrobeat legend Fela Kuti and the Nobel Prize laureate Professor Wole Soyinka, have been of Yoruba ancestry. But to say that the differences between Nigeria's three main tribes meant that every Igbo, Yoruba, or Hausa Fulani person hated anyone who wasn't from their tribe would be very far from the truth. In reality, most Yoruba societies got on well enough with Igbo societies. The main culture clash, if you like, was between the Hausa Fulanis of the north and the two major ethnic groups of the south. Prior to the colonial era, ancient Yoruba kingdoms such as the Oyo Empire have for many years suffered under several waves of jihadi attacks by the Islamic Sokoto Caliphate of the north, led by the famous Sultan Uthman bin Fodio. Now, although the Igbos in not have a similar history of war with the House of Fulani. The British colonial enterprise would create the perfect environment for the sharp differences between these two tribes to be brought to the forefront. In 1914, British High Commissioner Frederick effectively created the country we know today as Nigeria by bringing the northern and southern regions together in the now infamous Nigerian amalgamation in 1914.
Uber FOMC News Communion.
Many Yoruba and Igbo historians is that one of the main purposes of this amalgamation was to place
See what happened
under
is
the control of the autocratic North. The theory goes that by joining the more educated and
around
southern region to the much larger northern region, the British government was better able to implement its policy of indirect rule, as the amalgamation essentially gave dominion over the entire country to the northern elites, who were significantly less rebellious and generally more amenable to British interests. It is also worth noting that from 1914 onwards, the British adopted the practice of placing northerners in key leadership positions within colonial administration. Despite being generally better educated, southerners were more often than not limited to managerial and executive roles within the colonial apparatus. When the struggle for Nigeria's independence began to take shape, it was many Yoruba and Igbo intellectuals, such as the political activist Funmi Kuti and the renowned jurist Jaja Wachukwu, that led the fight for Nigeria's sovereignty. According to some historians, many of the local elites were not at all welcoming to the idea of an independent Nigeria, as they feared that independence would make use of the privileged positions that they had enjoyed under the colonial structure. The story goes that as a condition for them agreeing to support the push for Nigeria's independence, the northern leadership specifically demanded that the new nation maintain its colonial political structure, and even though it pretty much guaranteed the continuation of the North's dominance, the Igbo and Yoruba leaders, in their desperation to gain independence at all costs, agreed to the North's demands. And so, on its independence on the 1st of October 1916, the Nigerian state was divided into three geopolitical regions, in which a disproportionately large northern region was united with two eastern and western regions. Nigerian minister Tafawa Balewa, the northern political party, the Northern People's Congress. Tafawa Balewa's NPC party governed in coalition with the Igbo-aligned National Council of Nigeria and Cameroons, which was led by Nigeria's Governor General Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, the man who would then go on to serve as the ceremonial president of the First Nigerian Republic, which was established in 1963. The Yoruba-aligned Action Group Party, which was headed by Chief Obafemi Awolowo, played the opposition role. If unity was the goal, then the Nigerian state had gotten off to a very bad start. Nigeria's parliamentary system was a bit of a farce, as Nigeria's three main parties were not built on but on ethnic nationalism. With the vast majority of Nigeria's general population still largely unfamiliar with the style democratic system of their new country, pretty much everyone voted based on ethnicity. The Southwesterners voted for the AG, the Southeasterners for the NCNC, and the Northerners for the NPC. And as the northern region was by far the largest country, the NPC was basically guaranteed control over Nigeria as none of the
positioning for a buy.
NPC's large northern voting base. As you can imagine, it was only a matter of time before the
Come to the position for a buy.
state had been built, began to show
Aggressive buying.
The entrepreneurial spirit of the Igbos would see many of them move out of their hometowns in search of all the opportunities their new nation had to offer. From Lagos to Benin, Port Harcourt, and even major northern cities like Kano and Kaduna, Igbos began to build businesses.
Where are the positioning guys?
In the places they migrated to.
This guy has turned to his support.
With successful immigrants, it wasn't long before many of the locals, especially in the north, began to feel more than a bit uncomfortable with the success of their new neighbors.
Look at that.
One thing I've noticed, when I live here, is that no one seems to have question about either. They don't have to explain that to me. Well, the Igbos are more or less
Where are the positioning for a buy?
whose desire is mainly to dominate everybody. If they go,
What is
if they
FOMC?
they want to monopolize everything in that area. If you put them in a labor camp as a laborer, within a year they will try to detach as cavemen of that camp, and so on. Well, in the past, people were not alive to their responsibilities, because you can see from our modernization policy that the man who take their long-term northerners civil service. I tried to normalize and now all
No, I don't know whether I can hold on for long.
Trend on trend.
Usually it's supposed to drop reach at least 45,
Trend don't change.
is it?
I said trend don't change.
Trend don't change the upper.
Aggressive buying, yeah. Aggressive buy.
Hold on for long. Trend never really changed yet.
Trend don't change for me.
Check for never break.
No, na DXY self me I dey look now.
Is it?
DXY.
Yeah.
DXY too don't change to very structure. Then again, though oil dey wan support. But me, from wetin I dey see on gold and also DXY na im make me.
It was against this backdrop of
It's a retracement.
that the chain of events that ultimately led to the civil war would begin to unfold.
Cause this buy don ripe.
As the year 1966,
I say this buy na since Friday you wan dey buy but e no go. And yesterday e sweep wetin no good. So now wey buyers come dey change sell.
So I know the sweep of liquidity, they sweep in life. People they sweep in life.
this could
They go fire up. Yeah. The liquidity go sweep because they try don't dey buy make it go sweep again. The thing go sweep like 5 times. I take out liquidity but your mind you don't take out. That's the make me laugh.
Yesterday sell was.
That yesterday was, but the way that zone just the hold, he just the hold.
No, but
And,
me,
I know say car is 8%, not so 8%, but I no expect say go sell go down like that. I expect say in your percent you don't chop the liquidity with that go.
So me now, that based on happening of yesterday, and see wetin e come dey form again. E don change. E don break.
But me my own shan. Okay, you wan buy from here?
Wait me come here and buy. Aggressive buying sef.
You go still. I think I need it. You dey life.
Yeah.
Look like say go like if you come that place, create one fake low, but the real place where you go wan buy from sef where you that is down here. If you come here, go up, na the liquidity that then you go drop.
Omo God save me, I dodge bullet.
You go wan buy.
No, I don get sell limit since then when una dey sell na above una small sell limit dey. So me bin just think say this high go just touch am, you know say e just come.
Thank God say you comot.
E just come
I
burst.
don go back to 300 again.
unlike the previous one.
I don recover wetin I lose that yesterday.
The thing just na the joy of the thing be that sha. Few
Point be
wins.
say no risk too much. This trading. Just risk they cover. You go as long as the money dey your account, you go recover. But when they over risk, now wetin affect me wey bring the account down sef.
But I guess some inventory is where you suppose milk am well too.
That entries na im go work you now. Now wetin I wan do that yesterday now? Gagani.
No, na wrong timing. You get the one like I did me touch.
No be wrong. Na the right na fake. The only thing why I do it wrong that yesterday shall be say I come dey hope. Then I think after say na for just comot as the thing violate am, make I just comot wait for the next signal settle. One day one follow.
This buy is looking sweet, sharp. You still did this, sir?
No, I still dey. No, I don't chop this. I feel say you go retrace again before I sell again. This signal here na for sell to at least 50% of this month.
Even me, I know. I think I just want to hold up.
Now I replace and sell. Now I want to till you reach 50% of 4,500.
4,500 has a reclaimed again. I say 4,500 has a reclaimed. It was looking. Today I just see everybody by us sell. Be like say I go just do census if everybody wants. I will just go the opposite direction.
But the point is say see that zone where I sell from. I chop the sell like me now for gold. I don't agree go the full move where you suppose actually chop the CP. Half of the way called the can you sure?
Yes,
that particular sell we come go buy like that. Now valid setup down. All those times where they hold for long, you don't dey like almost TPs. This kind of one like they expect small. The accurate TPs is really that way taking that. Even that buy, I just stack for under like dynamic operandi style. You stack, just dey follow am. I get that.
You promised God yesterday you go try again. I say you promised God say you no go try am again if he save you. Panic mode.
I can move, no be with money wey you dey struggle with. I go do this kind. Because actually, if you check am back, why person no go just take one setup wey just like max everything for that one setup. Even if 10 go fail, one just one wait is maxing like
Jesus. You still dey sell?
I know you sell well.
No sell anything now. Bro.
Na sell I go sell.
Me, I go comot limit order self. Man comot all my comot. Bro. Escape japa. FOMC day today now.
FOMC day?
Yeah.
You never call us?
97 now. Bro.
I don't sell.
I'm not selling no.
What?
No, I dey comot my sell limit order self. I no do.
Me, I don't sell. I dey sell now. The rate just $10.
Me, I will be more comfortable to buy sha, but this sells when you don't tap liquidity sha. Okay. The way what you dey see the momentum, it dey very aggressive. Like it's very aggressive. You say? No, like from where it is, it has tapped liquidity already. So, bro, Me no want to say anything again. I don't want to say anything again. Like, I don't understand what's happening right now. See where am I selling it today? 230, bro. Me no do. Come out on. Come out on. Me I no sell again. Though there's I don't know which liquidity this thing is even coming for, bro. It's coming to key. This kind of sell if you go enjoy and stay too long. I said this kind of sell if you go enjoy and stay too long. Actually 550 is a oh man. What? I ain't gonna sell nothing. Yeah, I have still.
But putting aside General Truku's confidence fighting talk, the reality of the matter was that Biafra was by far the this fight. The Nigerian military was larger, better funded, better trained, and had secured the support of Britain and other world powers. The expectation in Lagos was for the war to be over within a matter of weeks, or in the very worst case scenario, 6 months. But much to the surprise of the Nigerians, the Biafran army proved a lot more resilient than they could ever imagined. Despite being composed of a largely entrenched and skilled group of young men and trained boys, the Biafrans would manage to withstand the Nigerian Muslims for 3 brutal years. The early campaigns of the Nigerian forces were quite successful, as they quickly managed to reclaim significant Biafran cities and governments. But after nearly a year of fighting, the war reached its culminates as the Biafran army began to stand its ground and maintain control of key cities and towns. Within the nation itself, the civilian population tried to carry on living life as normally as they could. With most of the men and boys on the battlefront, it was up to the women to manage the day-to-day running of the country. But as the war raged on, any hopes that the civilian population had of continuing to live their normal lives began to fade away. With both sides unable to reach an agreement, despite several attempts at peace talks, including one in Ethiopia presided over by Ethiopian Emperor Haile Selassie, the Gowon administration came to the very reckless conclusion that the only way to break the deadlock would be to trigger a military option. The Gowon Air Forces mobilized to impose an economic blockade on Biafra, which blocked the flow of all food and ammunition supplies by land, air, and sea. This move would turn out to be perhaps the single most destructive political decision in West African history, as it would ultimately lead to the death by malnourishment
GBP
of
card.
estimated 2 million civilians.
We got hit from GBP card.
The protein deficiency disease known as kwashiorkor. You see, prior to the war, dietary protein in the Biafra diet primarily consisted of locally sourced seafood, as well as
Card.
dried stockfish, which was imported from Norway. Other sources of protein, such as chicken, pork, and beef, were generally only enjoyed on special occasions, as they were often too expensive for the wider population. But as the blockade prevented the importation of Norwegian stockfish, and also says the raging protein supplies were quickly depleted, and the national diet was reduced to almost 100% starch. As the war took place around the golden era of TV media, the images of millions of malnourished Biafran children projected on TV sets worldwide would be one of the global community's earliest introductions to the now infamous trope of the starving African child. Although the Nigerian farming strategy was indefensible, it is important to point out that the government's supposed reasoning at the time was that the blockade would be nothing more than a short, sharp shock, and that Ojukwu, seeing the immense suffering of his people and the dwindling ammunition of his frontline soldiers, would have no other choice but to surrender. However, what the Nigerians had failed to realize was that the Biafran state had secured the support of a foreign benefactor of its own. Although the only countries to publicly recognize the state of Biafra were Tanzania, Gabon, the Ivory Coast, Zambia, and Haiti, Charles the Host France had taken a secret interest in Biafra as it saw it as the perfect addition to its sphere of influence in West Africa. According to French President Charles de Gaulle, Biafra is a just and noble cause. And so, working closely with the French aligned governments of the Ivory Coast under President Felix Houphouët-Boigny and the Gabonese Republic, led by President Omar Bongo, the French government helped to prolong the war by providing Biafra with weapons, mercenary fighters, and as much food as could be smuggled past the Nigerian blockade. France also publicized Biafra's cause on the international stage, describing the situation as nothing short of a genocide. The eventual discovery of France's involvement in the war would lead to protests on the streets of Lagos, with many accusing the French government of being the real reason why it continued, despite the fact that the Biafran forces had very little chance of overcoming the Nigerian military. But did France get involved in the war simply because Charles de Gaulle considered Biafra to be a just and noble cause? Well, not exactly. France's involvement was about economics, and had very little to do with some romantic desire for the Biafran people to share the French ideals of liberté, égalité, and fraternité. Later investigations will show how the French state-owned oil company Elf had secured military trade agreements with the Biafran states. Had Biafra successfully seceded from Nigeria, these agreements would have guaranteed Elf access to the equivalent of 7% of Nigeria's oil supply, and given the French government a nice slice of the Nigerian pie, which since the discovery of oil back in 1956 had been enjoyed solely by the Shell BP oil company. Although the French government tried to keep its ties to Biafra secret, General Ojukwu did very little to hide his country's French connection. From as early as the first year of the war, General Ojukwu had already begun to suggest that French would be made compulsory in Biafran secondary, technical, and teacher training schools. In his own words, he was very keen for his people to benefit from the rich culture of the French-speaking world. As the death toll began to rise exponentially, the whole world was becoming more aware of the level of carnage and immense suffering of the Biafran people. The Nigerian diaspora was galvanized, and protests and counter-protests began to take place on the streets of London and New York. Some Nigerians blamed General Ojukwu for the deaths of his own people, arguing that by continuing in the war as he knew fully well he could not win, he was putting his personal ambition ahead of the lives of millions of people. But for
How quick you know. You don't come out.
Yeah, I I expect say we still go back with that selling. I don't put sell limit for 4556.75.
Was by reporting stories of false victories and by giving false guarantees about the imminent end of the war. On the Nigerian side, the government continued to double down on its position. Despite reports of horrific levels of death and suffering, the Ghanaian government refused to blame first and continued to accuse Kenya Ojukwu of killing his own people and lied to them about their chances of being free.
I will not wish to say anything on this occasion, but I will regard it as prejudicial to the peace talks now going on in Kampala, Uganda. But in the words of Mr. Sina, the rebel leaders ought to know when enough is enough. This call upon to the shameless possession of innocent people with reports of fictitious victories on the battlefront. The interpretation that the so-called diplomatic vision by dubious characters cannot be released over the course of Nigerian history. It is sheer wickedness for Ojukwu and his state to continue to draw innocent citizens
Hey guys, I'm trying to like understand what's going on. Good, I feel that's right.
their lives for a cause that is not just. The rebel leaders know in their heart of hearts that all that was propaganda about genocide and massacre derives from personal ambition and the floating fear of their own future and safety. Consequently, they do not know when to stop. I call on those who claim to love Nigeria and the yours to face realities and advise the people of the East Central State to lay down their arms and return to the fold. It is not enough for organizations and individuals to ask the federal government to cease hostilities while ignoring the evil intentions of the rebels.
I got 30-minute pin bar number.
I honestly believe it is in the true interest of the heroes that
Alright, check
to
on.
the fatherland. I'm satisfied that all
I said signal.
Okay?
have learned
I said I said signal.
recent history
Serious selling.
and the current civil
But
war,
it supposed to feel the week first before you sell.
but there will never be a repetition.
So I will no come on.
You see,
Say,
contrary to popular belief, the Biafran government was much more than just a rebel military force. General Ojukwu also assembled a group of elite writers and artists who were tasked with cultivating nationalist spirit at home and also spreading Biafra's message on the world
This one go feel lyric too.
Political cartoons were put up all around the country, pushing simplistic interpretations of the causes of the war and demonizing not just the Nigerian military, but the Nigerian populace at large. On the international stage, notable members of the Biafran apparatus, such as Chimachebe and Gabriel Okara, publicized the plight of the Biafran people. They regularly denounced the actions of the Nigerian government and spoke about the atrocities they had witnessed in the country. The Biafran story became front-page news, and more and more members of the international community began to call on their own governments to take action. On the 29th of May 1969, groups set himself on fire at the United Nations in New York in protest of what he believed was a genocide against the nation people of Biafra. He was pronounced dead the very next day. With more and more of their own citizens calling for political intervention, the response from international backers was to ramp up the military support for the Nigerian forces, help them break the Biafra resistance once and for all. With their increased firepower, the Nigerian Federal Forces launched another major attack on the Biafran defense in the last week of December 1969. This fire offensive, known as Operation Tailwind, was executed by a battalion led by Colonel Olusegun Obasanjo, a man who would later go on to be a two-time president of Nigeria.
Operation Tailwind would ultimately break the deadlock. After over 3 weeks of heavy fighting, the last two major strongholds of Owerri fell to the Nigerian forces. En route to Ghana with the Biafran ship, General Ojukwu fled by plane to the Ivory Coast, leaving the deputy Philip F. Young to negotiate the terms of Biafra's surrender to General Yakubu on the 14th of January 1970.
The so-called rising sun of Biafra is set forever. It will be a great disservice for anyone to continue to use the word Biafra to refer to any part of the east central state of Nigeria. The tragic chapter of violence is at the dawn of national reconciliation. Once again, we have an opportunity to build a new nation. You would have heard that my government will seek the assistance of many foreign governments and bodies, especially in the provision of equipment to supplement our national effort. There are, however, a number of foreign governments and organizations whose so-called assistance will not be welcome. These are governments who sustain the rebellion, guilty of thousands who perished before the invasion of the futile rebellious resistance.
Yo, what up, guys?
Not fight out of
Who's on this live with me?
Their purpose was to disintegrate Nigeria and Africa and impose their will on us.
Where are you watching from? Comment, I'm in the comment. So, guys.
To say that the Nigerian government did not do enough to bring healing and reconciliation in the years following the war would be a gross understatement. Even the federal troops that were deployed to assist in the settlement of the survivors of the war were accused of taking advantage of the people that were there to help.
Many women said were molested as well. They said their property contained weapons and looting. You know,
I also get to general between the different of actually true. I agree with every word. There's always one of the words that you to be out of the hand and where I wouldn't die there. So I wouldn't think it. It's really a land that is not ready for conflict to be there also. It's not okay. But everything is built up to part of the community, part of the road, part of the house.
So we're looking at gold, but we're bearish, but right now, from recent happening of what's happening right now, damn it, gold is bullish. So for us, for me right now, I think I'll just wait to see. Bro, I'm removing all my sell positions. I'm bullish on gold right now. So us, we just waiting for some sort of retracement. Let's go back. We're building a story somewhere. So from the daily, from what I'm saying here, price has already shown that it's bearish from the daily close. So whatever buy it is I'm saying right now is a week most likely. 584. And from the momentum I'm seeing is like it's coming to take out that. So therefore gotta be cautious. So me, I'm positioning for the sell side retracement from this price level, man. Let's identify this resistance as well. Bro, literally, this guy got a whole lot of resistance, man. Till the real guy, which is 5653. I think that's the only place price is safe when chaos comes. So we have a new low. It's looking like this move we are seeing. It's more like a retracement. Even though we still bearish. But now, which high is it coming to take out? I think it's this immediate high. It's coming for blood, bro. So with that being identified, right now, for me, I'll remove any limit order I got right now. I'll remove every limit order and wait. I'm not trusting.
for the sake of the many innocent and peace-loving Nigerians, one can only hope and pray that the Nigerian establishment chooses to loosen its tight grip on power before it's too late. Once again, it's maybe time for New Africa. New Africa. Thanks again for your support, and until next time.
Always say, kill them. This is what he is going to do. He is going to do their family. And the next thing they do is I'm sorry to say, it's no problem.
Established North Taiwan, San Francisco, Northwest Virginia, a convoy of vehicles stopped at the edge of the forest. A 60-year-old man in white robes gets out. He leads the security plan. The people is usually one condition. This vehicle, maybe no weapons. He walks the last lap of the journey on foot into the trees. Ahead, sitting cross-legged in a clearing, more than 600 armed fighters are waiting. Some of them are 14 years old. They have AK-47s, rocket launchers, rifles traced to both the Latin Islamic base and 100 rockets to the right. He retired Army captain and the son of the most Islamic scholar Nigerian Nigerian government, which has since been 8,000 of soldiers trying to find these exact people, says we don't know their plans, but this man finds them only with people. His name is Sheikh Ahmad.
To become a tree, but seeds don't have to go to a gardening class because the tree is already in the seed. So you see, success is built in, but not only is success built in, if you're doing what God created you to do, success is actually the default. All of your creation succeeds naturally when it functions according to its it's on the same way, but the problem is, most people are busy connected to something. Most people are trying to succeed outside of what they were created for. A fish looks untalented on land, but a bird looks weak underwater. A seed looks dead on the concrete, but they're just interrupting environments. So success isn't about effort, it's about alignment. When you are doing what God created you for, there's a different level of grace attached to it. And it's not because it's easy, it's because you were literally designed for it. You know, when a fish is swimming, it looks effortless. When a bird is effortless because they were literally built for that thing. In the same way, you are operating in your purpose. It should look effortless because success is literally just a byproduct of you being in the right environment and on the right assignment. Isn't in you, but then you're trying to function in this mindset. It's never going to go ahead and jump off. God bless it. So God created creation this way. You guys did it.
From that moment, the comedian is invading permanently in the family and national money, prestige, and institutional access.
You say 4 minutes, that's okay. What are the conditions?
Maybe that's why they say when you start, we go back to pause.
At least allow people, make it work small. Allow us to work to a certain extent. Then put us on. How can beginning of shift just put person on outbound? At least beginning of shift. I can even for what I know.
Meanwhile, the only family tree is growing these roots into natural ecology. Anna's brother becomes a new gentleman. Sister married to former sisters. The new woman is no longer just a potential. It is now and that shield is about to come. Around 2010, Ahmad comes home and he inherits the one thing no degree can give you, his father's hope. Sultan Bello Central Mosque, Kaduna, the mosque where his father preached for decades. Ahmad takes over the Ramadan Tafsir. The Quranic interpretation sessions broadcast live across Radio Nigeria Kaduna to millions of listeners in Nigeria, Niger, Cameroon, and Chad. He builds an Islamic school, a girls' college. He accumulates over 800,000 followers on Facebook. He becomes the most listened to Islamic voice in modern Nigeria. By 2010, Magni has the mosque, the name, the credentials, and the followers. What he doesn't have is a crisis. Then Northwest Nigeria gives him one. Northwestern Nigeria after 2009, cattle rustling, the problem as old as the Sahel, escalates into something else entirely. Fulani herders clash with farming communities. Vigilante groups called Yan Sakai form to fight back. Then the herders arm themselves. Then their teenagers arm themselves. Arms flooding from post-Gaddafi Libya, AK-47s, rocket launchers, military-grade rifles crossing porous borders by the truck. And the state is simply absent. No roads, no schools, no hospitals, no police. Forests the size of European countries where the Nigerian government has no presence at all. Into that vacuum, a generation of teenagers with automatic rifles becomes unleashed. Between 2013 and 2022, armed bandits killed approximately 8,300 people in Northwest Nigeria. And they discovered something. Kidnapping pays. It pays even better than cattle rustling. It pays better than farming. It pays better than anything the state has ever offered them. And the targets are children. 130 school children abducted from the Catholic school in Nigeria. February 2021, Kagara, Niger State, 42 hospitals. March 2021, Federal College of Forestry Mechanization, Afaka, Kaduna, 39 students. April 2021, Greenfield University, Kaduna, 14 students taken, 5 killed. June 2021, Tegina Islamia School, Niger, 115 children. July 2021, Bethel Baptist High School, Kaduna, 121 students taken in a single year. Parents sell land, sell livestock, sell everything they have to pay the ransoms. Reverend John Hayat, the chairman of CAN in northern Nigeria, later confirmed it. Children released in batches, one family at a time, one payment at a time, and this happened over months. The military responds with airstrikes. The airstrikes hit civilian settlements. The civilian casualties drive more teenagers into the forest. The cycle accelerates. And then Sheikh Ahmad Buni does something no politician, no general, and no other cleric in Nigeria would do. He walks in. Late 2020, he begins reaching out to battle commanders through Fulani networks, pastoralist contacts, military alliance intermediaries, mosque connections. His speech is quite simple. He is Fulani. He is the son of Abubakar Buni. He is a man of God, and he can carry their grievances to the government. The January 2021, Buni meets over 600 armed bandits and their commanders. The Cardinal Commissioner of Police, representing the Inspector General. The bandits offer to surrender their weapons in exchange for amnesty, security guarantees, and basic services. February 2021, the Zamfara tour. Over 600 fighters under the commander named Bello Tuji, one of the most wanted men in Nigeria. Tuji threatens to invite armed groups from neighboring countries if the government doesn't listen. February 18th, 2 days after the Kagara school abduction, Gumi enters the Dotson Mogazi forest in United States to meet a bandit commander named Dogo. The man with reported links to Ansar, an Al-Qaeda affiliate. The Niger State government sends its secretary to the state government as its representative. Here shows Gumi the raised foreign settlement. 1,500 people displaced, corpses dumped in. 9 days later, the Kagara students are released. For a few months, in early 2021, it looks like dialogue might actually work. But the Nigerian government has made promises to Gumi that it has no intention of keeping. Gumi carries the list of demands back from the forest. Blanket amnesty, model on the program that ended the Niger Delta militancy. The new Ministry of Nomadic Affairs, release of detained children schools and hospitals built in the forest, security guarantees for anyone who surrenders, government university. Instead, in late 2021, the Federal High Court in Abuja does the opposite of amnesty. It officially designates bandit police as terrorists. Gumi once publicly that a terrorist designation in Africa, that it will turn, in his words, raw, naive, unexposed bandits into real terrorists. He finally withdraws from in-person foreign visits. Says he can't risk his life anymore. But he was talking from the pulpit, from Facebook, from television videos, was Abuja and Katrina. The promises are broken. The bandits are now official terrorists. And for me, the man who advocated for dialogue with non-killers is about to find out that the more you talk, the more people listen to what you actually say.
So that insurance is the best I can do than killing the soldiers during this exam. Kill if you want to no, they are all equal. So this is an example. Not all of us have the same power. For instance, I know that
December 1925, 303 students and 12 teachers have just been abducted from the Catholic school in the United States. 25 schoolgirls have been taken from the Catholic school in Kenya. The country is bleeding. Children goes on the BBC and says kidnapping children is a lesser evil than killing soldiers. Nigeria lost. The Christian Association of Nigeria demands General Christopher Musa retired, says publicly that running of a thief is a thief. But Gumi didn't retract his statement. He calls his critics, quote, spineless, irresponsible, and unpatriotic, imbecilic people. Nobody understands. In the first half of 2025, Nigeria's National Human Rights Commission recorded 2,266 deaths from malnutrition and disease. In a single 12-month period between July 2024 and June 2025, SBM intelligence counted 4,722 people abducted in 997 days. Families paid over 2.57 billion naira in ransom to people who want Nigeria to offer blanket amnesty to. Gumi claims he led 600 bandits to surrender, but the data says violence law is not fair in every single year his negotiations concluded. Bello Tuji, the man being sat with in that Zamfara forest, burns travelers alive on the Sokoto highway that same year. He sacked 6 villages and abducted roughly 50 people in a single 24-hour period. He remains at large till 2026. The approach did not work. In June 2021, the DSS, Nigeria Secret Police, invites Gumi for questioning after he claims on national television that military personnel are colluding with bandits. He meets with the DSS director in Kashmir. The meeting lasts 15 minutes. The government doesn't arrest him. He walks out and he keeps pushing. But then, in September 2022, they arrest the man who has been standing next to him all along.
The publisher, the newspaper, different panels, came to life. This year,
There is a man in every photo of sharing Gumi's forest missions, standing just behind him, carrying the Islamic books, managing the trust. His name is Tuko Omanu. He's a publisher from Yobe State, runs a small cabinet home called Desert Herald. He serves as Gumi's media consultant, the operational fixer of the entire bandit engagement. On March 20, 2022, armed gunmen detonate explosives on the track and attack the Abuja Caravan AK-9 train. At least 8 people are killed, over 60 passengers are affected. It is the most high-profile kidnapping in modern targeting the educated middle class. Army negotiates the release of hostages in batches over the following months. Families celebrate. Media outlets call him a hero. But in less than 6 months, he stole the weapon. Except 2 wives. His son and his brother-in-law, Ibrahim Tinja. Egyptian authorities always meeting with Nigerian intelligence and court, intercepting him at the gate against Tenor. He patrolled to Nigeria the following day, taking directly into DSS custody on arrival. That same night, around midnight, approximately 50 DSS operatives in roughly 20 vehicles, they raped the Mormon's residence and his desert herald office and minister. And then comes March 2023, Federal High Court Abuja. Mormon is arraigned on a 10-count terrorism charge under the Terrorism Prevention Act. Then in November 2025, the full picture. DSS investigators testified that 1,000 members family families of kidnapped train passengers, 21 million naira from resources, 500,000 naira that was directed to Boko Haram, and that the bandit commander known offered Mamu a personal cost, 15 million from the ransom pool. For a newspaper publisher whose tabloid had the circulation in the low thousands, his traceable assets totaled roughly $300,000 daily planned. Repeatedly, most recently in October 2025, Mamu has been in justice custody for over 3 years. The Nigerian Sanctions Committee formally designates him the terrorism financier, but his mentor calls the designation rubbish. No charge has ever been brought against Sheikh Ahmed. The mentor walks free and the protege faces a lifetime imprisonment. 3 days after Mamu's arrest, Sheikh Guli stands at the Sultan Bello Mosque and addresses his congregation. He says, arresting people unjustly is also terrorism, just like the terrorists do. He calls the DSS lawless. He calls the raid on Mamu's house an act of spiritual. He doesn't distance himself from Mamu. He doubles down. He doesn't visit Mamu in detention. He doesn't even provide evidence of innocence. He attacks the accusers instead. So, is this loyalty? Because Tukumamu is not the first person connected to violent extremism who had shared Gobi's number in the phone. That distinction belongs to a 23-year-old Nigerian who boarded a transatlantic flight with a bomb sewn into his underwear. Christmas Day 2009, Northwest Airlines Flight 253, Amsterdam to Detroit, nearly 300 passengers. A 23-year-old Nigerian named Umar Farouk Abdul Mutala is on board. He's the youngest of 16 children of Alhaji Umar Mutala, one of the wealthiest bankers in Nigeria. He has studied in London and Yemen, and hidden in his underwear is a device packed with PET-N, a powerful explosive capable of blowing a hole in the fuselage. He tries to detonate it. His device fails. Fire engulfs his body. Passengers tackle him and extinguish the flames. The explorers of the body, all the music professional, he will never be there. But when FBI investigators go through Abdul Mutalab's phone, the people he contacted in the days before the attack, they find a certain Sheikh Ahmed. February 24, 2010, Gumi is detained in Mecca at the request of U.S. authorities. He is held for over 6 months, first in Jeddah, then under house arrest in Mecca. He says the Saudis cleared him, they released him on September 5th, 2010, without charge. Gumi returned to Nigeria after his 2010 release. He resumes preaching, he builds a school, he walks into the forest, and then, May 2025, he tried to go back to Saudi Arabia. May 24th, 2025, Sheikh Gumi arrives at Medina aboard an Uza Air Charter as part of a NACON-sponsored delegation of Islamic scholars for Hajj 2020. He holds a Bible visa. He is stopped at immigration, banned from entry, turned around, deported at his own expense on a Turkish Airlines flight through Istanbul. In 1987, Saudi Arabia gave his father the King Faisal International Prize. The Islamic wars and his own. In 2025, Saudi Arabia won his son 3 aircraft. Gumi attributes the ban to his criticism of Saudi Arabia's position in the Israel-Hamas war, his vocal pro-Palestinian and anti-US stance. During Ramadan 2025, the Nigerian president's son, Sheikh Tunde, personally visited Sheikh Gumi alongside the federal minister and the governor of Kashmir State. So, while his international standing seems to have collapsed, his domestic immunity holds. But there is another man who has nothing to do with this story. However, his own experience with the law exposes the double standards in the Nigerian system. November 20th, 2025, Federal High Court Abuja. Justice James Omotosho delivers his verdict. Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, is sentenced to life imprisonment. Kanu gave information speeches on radio. He called Biafran secession. He was abducted from Abuja in Kenya, extraordinary rendition in Nigeria. He was held for years. He was tried, and in the end, he wrote life sentence. Sheikh Gumi walked into forest with killers, told the BBC that kidnapping children is a lesser evil, watched his own spokesman get arrested for terrorism financing, was linked to a convicted bomber, was deported by Saudi Arabia. He preaches every Friday, and most basically, he has never been charged with a sin. Underneath all of this, the ransom agreement keeps growing. Every naira flowed into the organizations Gumi argued could be reformed through dialogue. Every naira made the next kidnapping more profitable. So the question was never whether Sheikh Gumi is guilty or innocent. The question was always why the state decided to put this effort to find out. Gumi is not the cause of Nigeria's crisis. He is its clearest symptom. A state that cannot stop the bandits and cannot arrest the man who sits with them is a state that has measured the cost of action in both directions and decided that inaction is cheap. The military cannot pacify the forest. The government cannot deliver amnesty. The courts cannot treat northern and southern districts equally. The presidency cannot alienate the constituency and Gumi represents. And so, Gumi preaches. Children are taken, ransoms are paid, and the line on the graph keeps going up. Gumi is simultaneously the most consequential civilian negotiator in Nigerian military. Every kidnapped child, every ransom payment, every forest meeting that produced no peace, every call for arrest that was convenient, all of it marks the exact boundaries of what Nigeria's federation can and cannot do. But the hard truth is, Sheikh Gumi didn't draw these boundaries. He never made consent.
Say that the battle children is the second one that killing the soldiers. Killing the president, with the only
Lebanese Nigerian businessman Sergio Bertolini.
In 2004, the chairman of Nigeria's anti-corruption agency says the trial is building a case for knowledge against the man who believes that the center of one of the largest financial crimes in Nigerian history. The plan is to Lewis trying to remove airstrip and arrest him the moment he stepped off his private jet. The officers are in position. The indictment is ready. The plane touches down. And then someone tips off the pilot the radio. The plane accelerates down the runway and lifts off. In Nigerian airspace in town. The man on that plane was named Gio Marshall. But who is this man and how has he managed to build all the lives of portfolios of government infrastructure contracts of any private citizen in Nigeria? High in the mountains of Gana, there is a village called Miziara, population about 15,000, Maronite Catholic, remote, and for 9 months of the year, almost empty, because the working age residents of Miziara are somewhere else. They are in Nigeria, working for one family. That family is the Chaldeans. Gilbert Lawrence Chaldery was born in Lagos on the 8th of January 1940. His parents, Rames and Aziz, were the Lebanese immigrants settled in Nigeria in 1930s. Gilbert was sent to Lebanon, came back to Nigeria as a teenager, and started working in sales. Cars first, then floor milling with his father-in-law. And in 1971, at 25 years old, he and his younger brother Ronald founded the Chaldery Group. Construction, real estate, floor mills, hotels is a lengthy list. Over the next 2 decades, the Chaldery Group became one of the biggest conglomerates in Nigeria, with approximately 20,000 employees by the company's local accounts. The business empire built in the country his parents chose as home. His supporters called him a builder, a visionary, a man who bet on Nigerian others in life. But there's a dark side to the on the flight to the oil city of Port Harcourt, the Bachar sat down next to the military officer named Senator Bachar. They talked, and then they became friends. That friendship would shape Nigeria with so many ways. In November 1990, Abacha dissolved Nigeria's democratic institutions, cancelled the presidential election, and installed himself as head of state. He would rule for 5 years. In that time, an estimated $2 to $5 billion would vanish from the national treasury, hidden in banks across Switzerland, Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, and the Isle of Jersey. Bachar didn't just know about Chaduri with hands, he became indispensable to him. Philippe Vassett, the long-time editor of Africa Energy Intelligence in Paris, man who tracked the intersection of oil, money, and African politics for decades. Abacha's role in the civil sentence was he was the gatekeeper to Abacha's presidency. And once that gatekeeper door was we need to go inside this one door. Now, imagine you are Bill Richardson, a US congressman. President Clinton has sent you to Nigeria to pressure Abacha on human rights. You just spent hours across the table with one of the most feared men in Africa. Abacha doesn't blink. He doesn't concede. You walk out exhausted. And then the hunters take you somewhere else, a private home. There's a man waiting. You've never heard of him. He's not a government official. He owns no title. And then he offers you pizza. You sit with him for an hour and a half. He's charming. He's knowledgeable. He seems sympathetic to Washington's concerns about the regime. So you leave thinking you may be used to contract. But what you don't know is that the man sitting across from him is a gatekeeper of the regime he just came to pressure. That man is Gilbert Chapel. But it went deeper than just dealing with him. Abacha's regime was allegedly relating the Central Bank of Nigeria. Billions of dollars moved to personal accounts across Europe. And Chaguri helped to make that movement possible. His own Swiss lawyer, a man named Lopaga, confirmed to PBS that Chaguri served as a reference for Abacha's sons at credit schools. When the sons of the military dictator walked into one of the world's most prestigious banks with unexplained meanings, the bank needed credible name to vouch for them. Gilbert Chaguri was that name. And at another Geneva bank, FJB, accounts were set up that facilitated transfers of over $120 million directly from the Central Bank of Nigeria to entities linked to the Abacha family. Nigeria's future anti-corruption chief, Nuhu Ribadu, would later put it bluntly, saying, quote, they couldn't investigate corruption without looking at China. In 1997, a Nigerian news magazine called The News tried to expose the Chagri family's group in the country. The journalist was later arrested, tortured, and nearly died in detention. And then, on the 8th of June 1993, Sani Abacha. According to the classified US State Department memo, on the day Abacha died, Chagri placed a call from his private plane to the American embassy in Nigeria. He said he was in contact with the Provisional Ruling Council and he asked the question, what kind of government will be acceptable to US officials? Abacha was dead, his regime was collapsing, and every person who had been close to him was about to face consequences. Frozen accounts, investigations, prosecution even. But Chagri had made a career out of surviving transition. 2 years after Abacha's death, a Geneva court convicted Chagri of money laundering and aiding a criminal organization. The evidence was specific. Chagri had helped set up accounts at SGB Bank that enabled transfers of over $120 million from Nigeria's central bank to Abacha family entities. Where it was handed down, and then the negotiation began. Chagri's lawyers offered a deal. He would pay a fine, 1 million Swiss francs, about $600,000, in the country's system. Swiss authorities agreed to expunge the conviction from the specters after 2 years. Chagri was maintaining that he did not know the Forixo story. Separately, negotiated with the new civilian government in Nigeria. He would return money he held in Swiss bank accounts. The exact amount has never been confirmed. With some reports placing it as high as $300 million. And in exchange, Nigeria would grant him immunity from prosecution. Chagri had escaped prosecution. His conviction was erased. He had immunity, but there was one man in Nigeria who was not ready to let Chagri go. Nuhu Ribadu had become chairman of Nigeria's Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the country's first real attempt at an anti-corruption. He was aggressive, public, fear. He went after senators, bank chiefs, and he hadn't forgotten the Russian. Ribadu knew the Swiss conviction had been expunged. He knew the Nigerian indemnity deal protected Chagri from the Abacha charges. So he found a different path. Minor business violations, enough for an arrest warrant, enough to get Chagri on Nigerian soil. And once he was in custody, the EFCC will build the bigger case. The trap is set at a youth airfield in the far northeastern corner of the country. EFCC officers in a position. The jet descends. The wheels touched down, the engines began to hum, and then the radio transmission. Someone at the airport takes off the throttle. The engines roar back to life. The plane accelerates, lifts off, climbs, and disappears. Gilbert Childbury never touched the ground. In 2007, when Rivali's political protection vanished, he was pushed out of the EFCC. In 2008, government opened fire on his car. He survived and then he fled Nigeria. The man who chased Childbury across an airstrip was the one who ended up alone. Childbury was entering a new phase. He had escaped his course. He had outrun Nigeria's best investigator. He had paid enough money to buy freedom from the country he had been convicted of helping to root. But there was a problem. His reputation was in ruins. Money alone couldn't fix that. He needed something far more valuable. He needed legitimacy, and he knew exactly where to find it. Now, the thing about people Childbury is, he didn't go to Washington after the Abacha election collapsed. He went during it. Remember that pizza meeting? The Richardson, the US envoy sitting in Childbury's Lagos home in August 1996? Yeah, that visit happened while Abacha was still in power. A few weeks after that dinner, Childbury made a donation, $460,000 to a group called Vote Now 96, a tax-exempt voter registration organization with close ties to the Democratic National Committee. Now, Childbury was a foreign national. Under US law, he was explicitly prohibited from contributing to American political groups. But the money went through, and the timing is critical. Since 1996, Abacha is in power. Childbury is serving as his financial gatekeeper. Just months earlier, the regime had executed writer and activist Ken Saro-Wiwa and 8 others, a killing that provoked international outrage and Nigeria's suspension from the Commonwealth. Mushu Abiola, the man widely believed to have won the presidential election Abacha had cancelled, was rotting in a prison cell. His wife, Kujira, had been assassinated on the streets of Lagos that same day. But while Saro-Wiwa's body was very cold and Abiola sat in the cell, Childbury was writing checks from Washington. A few months after the donation, Gilbert Childbury and his family were guests at President Clinton's White House holiday dinner for top Democratic Party supporters. So, while the US was publicly attacking and blocking Abacha every step of the way, the man was having dinner in the White House. Over the next step, the relationship with Japan. Childbury arranged a $100,000 speaking fee for the Clinton at a Caribbean event. He attended Clinton's 60th birthday celebration. He gave between $1 million and $5 million to the Clinton Foundation. This was disclosed in December 2008, the same month that Barack Obama announced Hillary Clinton as Secretary of State. And in 2009, the Childbury Group pledged $1 billion to the Clinton Global Initiative for a project in Lagos. That project was called Headquarters. April 2009, Doug Byrne, head of the Clinton Global Initiative, Bill Clinton's personal aide, sends an email to 2 of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's closest advisors, Omar al-Bashir and Sharon Needles. The email read, quote, "We need Global Childbury to speak to the substance persons in Lebanon. As we know, he is key guardian and to us, very important." Abdul replies, "It's Jeff Feldman. I'm sure he knows me. I'll talk to Jeff." One pushes back, minutes later. "Better if you call him now, preferably. This is very important. He is awake and sure." Childbury is being treated as a priority contact by the US Secretary of State's inner circle, but not through official diplomatic channels. These emails were obtained through a Freedom of Information Act lawsuit and released in August 2016. But Childbury didn't stop and down to us. You see, between 2012 and 2016, he routed approximately $180,000 through Americans who made campaign contributions in their own names using his name. These are called extraordinary. These donations were made to the campaigns of 4 Republican candidates. One of them, Congressman Jeff Fottenberg. was later convicted of lying to investigators about where the book came from. That conviction was eventually overturned on procedural grounds, but the underlying facts of the struggle skill were never disputed. Chagari signed a deferred prosecution agreement with the Department of Justice and paid $1.8 million, no prison, no trial. This is the American version of the Swiss Conference. But the most important door Chagari ever opened wasn't in Washington, Virginia. It was in Lakers, a beach that used to house thousands of people. One morning in 2008, state officers arrived at the beach on the edge of Victoria Island in Lakers. The ring servers, the set homes of in the chaos, people run. Some run inland, some run toward the water. Some people who run toward the water haven't come. There is no money, no court order. There is no record of compensation, no documented resettlement plan. An estimated 80,000 people have lost their homes. The place was called Barbage, and it had been there as long as colonial laborers, cattle traders, cleaners, waiters, families who worked in service on the wealthy Victoria Island next door, those in the line until above the wall. The ocean had always been a threat, over erosion and there, and it has to be bound, but been adapting for generations. Why 2008? Well, because in 2005, the governor of Lagos had written to President Obasanjo proposing a quote, permanent solution to Barbage problem. The solution wasn't flood defenses for people who live there, but an investor who would reclaim the lost land, build a new seawall, and construct an entirely new city. On the 7th of July 2006, the Lagos State government granted a statutory right of occupancy to South Indian the subsidiary of the Child Group. 10 million square meters of Lagos coastline, the 78-year limits. 2 years later, the people who live on the coastline were cleared till that's fine. The name of the governor who signed that grant, handing over 10 million square meters to Lagos Child Group, was Bola Mentu. In May 2023, the man who had granted Chagui 10 million square meters of Lagos coastline became the president of Nigeria. The Tinubu-Chagui relationship, which had begun during Tinubu's governorship in 1999 and produced the Eco Atlantic Land Grant in 2006, entered a new phase. At the COP28 climate summit in Dubai in late 2023, Chagui appeared on the official Nigerian delegation list. His title wasn't businessman or advisor, it was someone confidant of Mr. President. His listed organization was the Nigerian State House. No other country at the summit listed a confidant on his delegation. In January 2024, Tinubu issued a medical tribute from the State House saying, quote, with friends like him, one has slipped with still more. And then came the contrast. The Lagos Calabar Coastal Highway, 700 kilometers, 10 lanes awarded to high-tech construction, which had resulted. Estimated cost 15 trillion naira, roughly 11 to 13 billion dollars. The single most expensive infrastructure project in Nigerian history. More than half the country's annual budget. But there was no public competitive bid. And then there's a TCON and a public cost awarded to ITB Nigeria. Another Chinese subsidiary for rehabilitation, 1.1 to 1.4 trillion naira, financed by 746 million pounds in UK exports financed UC during Tinubu's state visit to London. Chagui research or travel with delegation. African intelligence reported that ATB was selected despite the group's lack of experience in the concept. There is also the Snake Island Port Container Channel. This was awarded in March 2026 for $1 billion. But the contrasts are only half the picture. Leaked documents obtained by the International Consortium of Investigating Journalists reveal that President Tinubu's son, Sheyi, was the majority shareholder in an offshore company alongside Roland Chagui Jr. The company was incorporated in the British Virgin Islands a jurisdiction chosen specifically for corporate secrecy. Its business purpose has never been disclosed. Its foreign ownership is unknown. Separately, Charity Board sits on the board of CDK Integrated Industries, a Jaguar-owned company. And then, on the 8th of January 2026, his 80th birthday, Dubachabu received the Grand Commander of the Federal Command, GCOM, Nigeria's second highest national honor. The same rank given to Vice Presidents, Senate Presidents, and Chief Justices. There was no official ceremony, no official citation explaining why a man once convicted of laundering stolen money, who sets up bank accounts for a dictator's sons, who ran illegal donations to American politicians, is receiving one of the highest honors in Nigerian state police. The award came from the 11 days, one billionaire and family hotel were posted his executive honors. Presidency was his confirmed because of event. Dubachabu has outlasted 7 Nigerian exits. Abacha was retained. With Abisalami, he was unchallenged. With Obasanjo, he was indemnified. Rehabilitated. Jonathan was favored. Buhari, he was sidelined. Tinubu, well, you can decide. No elected official has maintained influence across that many administrations. No military commander, not even an appointed minister. Only Chapo, the man has survived every transition. No revival, the man who said, quote, you couldn't investigate corruption without looking at Chapo. This today President Tinubu's national security. He serves in the city government and gave Dubachabu the second highest national honor in the It's January 21st, 1966. A young reporter is staring down the stretch of the Lagos-Abeokuta highway on the Vespa. He's chasing the wind. They whisper that something has been left in a dense bush near a quiet village called Ifo. He goes up to it. He walks into the bush. And there, slumped beneath the shade of a coral tree, he finds a man. He's dressed in a white flowing coat. His fingers are still wrapped around his prayer beads. This is Abubakar Tafawa, the Prime Minister of Nigeria. The world knew him as the golden voice of Africa, and he has been dead for 60 years. Just a few feet away lies the second finance minister, one of the most flamboyant and top. Now, he's beating so severely his face is coming on the career. How does the leader of Africa's most populous, promising new nation simply vanish into the night, sparking a frantic nation only to end it dumped on the side of the victory?
For each man working through the religious beliefs and reaffirming principles of his particular creed. We, when we hear the world crying out for peace, we may receive the inspiration to deal with these impracticable problems.
Now, let's rewind to 14. A British colonial administrator named Frederick Lugar takes 2 completely distinct, incredibly complex territories and he smashes them together into a single colony called Nigeria. These 2 halves could not have been more different. In the north, you had a predominantly Muslim population governed by centuries-old traditional Islamic emirates. In the south, you had a complex patchwork. The Yoruba kingdoms in the west, the Igbo communities in the east, and dozens of distinct minority groups scattered in between. We're talking about different languages, different religions, and entirely different systems of law. So, why mention them? I didn't draw this new program because these people naturally belong to me. He drew it for one simple bureaucratic reason. It was cheaper for London to run one colony instead of two. Now fast forward to the 1950s. Independence is not reality. And the British and Nigerian leaders had to sit down and agree on the constitution. They decided to build a dignity declaration. The North, the East, and the West. Now, here's what the reality of politics established. They allocate parliamentary seats based on population. The breakdown is something like this. The North gets 174 seats, the East gets 73 seats, and the West 62 seats plus 3 reserved for the Federal Council of Leaders. Now I want you to lock this. Because that structural imbalance is going to become the engine for everything afterwards. And then there was the money. Earlier on, they operated under something called the principle of derivation. Basically, if it grows on the soil, the region keeps the massive chunk of the profit. And at that time, this worked. The whole thing was propelled by agriculture. The West was exporting cocoa, the East was exporting apple, and the North was exporting grains. The scale of this was happening. You can't the brutal task of without peanuts. Structure is so massive and iconic, independent on the local processes. While everyone was looking at the dramatics on both drama, something else was happening beneath the surface. In 1956, Shell BP struck commercial problem in the United States. Suddenly, the entire game changed. When Nigeria gained independence in 1960, the in balance. It was one of the fastest, most aggressive expansions in the history of Europe. But there was a catch. Almost all of that oil sat beneath the ocean and never grew as population. On that day, the tidal wave of new oil was going to flow directly into unless of course somebody changed.
Don't think that we're having these last days. And don't think that that ideology can't
The rich knew exactly what this food was for.
I spoke to
She
a
would
woman
be
in
able
Nigeria
to
that said, I never thought I would have gone to buy that. And she was
protecting that
displaced
investment
because
became
everyone
a
knew that to
single
me.
guiding force behind every decision
Our
that
charge as
London made
Christians
before
is
the
to
hand
rescue
of
those being
Jesus.
Christ. Well, they're being
So,
slaughtered right now.
this is not going to
And our charge is to
dismantle
rescue. I
first,
urge you
they
all
attacked
to
the land.
rescue.
1958,
My
the
Bible.
British
And
led
don't
panel
just
called
feed
the
and clothe
Rising
them.
Commission
Pull them
typically
out
revolts
and
the
put them
evidence
into displacement camps where they can be
the
safe.
percentage of wells that
This
the
is
Asian
your
got
church.
to
This
keep
is
from
my
its
church.
own
That's
side
your
was
brother.
flat.
That's your
The
sister.
one of the government was out
And you will stand
to
before them one day in
defend the
heaven
government and the
and you
shared
will
that
recognize
next
that
the
man,
lockdown.
that hero of the thing.
That same year, the British Commission looked into whether the minority groups in the South should get their own states to protect their interests. The British citizens ignored. They decided most states would be too small, too expensive, and too messy. It was better to just lump everything together, have just three massive regions, and hope the tension didn't fly out. In the year 1952, a brief three massive, almost stitched together regions, the pioneer lines to be dominated by the light. The newly discovered creation of oil laws were fighting and dying for, and new states to act as general powers. The world is set. The game is real. Now, it is where someone to understand how this grid system actually operated, you have to look at the two main dynamics. First, there is the over class of power. He was not born to power. His father,
Disgusting and disrespecting talk to humanity that when you look at the people, when to you, if you check them,
that was the servant in the household
they
of
could
the
be
district
a woman that
he came from the Bible, a
is
tiny minority ethnic citizen. Growing up,
people that segregate, that feel like the people that are not up to their level don't have a voice to speak. I am glad because if this mentality follow you enter politics, then the people when you want to look like that don't finish. With this kind of mentality, how do you look out for the poor masses? When you already believe that the poor man does not have the voice. So that the people are ready to criticize you now and to question what you are not. So the people when they are allowed to criticize you, as a public figure where you be, and people when they demand of you. Like I said, the 14 votes were in place. Now the only people when they
he
demand
was
of
sent to
you go on.
Kassim College, the school that would eventually become the elite rival college. In the school's record
And
books,
follow me see when you talk now. In the nearest future, putting it out there. Anytime a monetary person is coming up for something in Nigeria, only the people who show up should vote him and support him. But look at the 5 point something million followers you have on Instagram. Is that 5 point something million where you go? 300,000 of them, you know, that's too much. 1,000 of them don't get you out. 1,000 of them.
arises through sheer faith.
And you want to represent them for the house. You are not grassroots enough. Because that's why we say you don't want to the public. If you open your mouth, they say, hey, look at it, where they check their profile, they don't get you out. Make me all night. But it's not where follow small boy girl. No, I'm for you girl. I spoke to you about this one million times.
That's what it tells you exactly how God is so difficult. Character, not next life, dictates the man's life. He was giving no time competition. In fact, he was shy, he even stopped trying. But the moment he stepped in front of the microphone, everything changed. His voice dropped into this deep, measured, commanding cadence that could freeze the room. When he eventually spoke at the United Nations General Assembly, the entire hall fell silent, including the golden was light. And yet, despite holding the highest levels of the man, Balawan believed that man had nothing. He wants to have 3,000 pounds loan from bank to bank just to upgrade his mother house, he said. He spent 6 years basing his social development, his festival in
Now you don't go and begin. If you want to be better, you should control your mouth. As much as I love you so much, you should be very, very careful. You should be very, very careful. All these things will give you don't understand. That's in a culture where you see the poor, they try and they work hard, but the government is not giving them enough. It's hard.
2 years ago, that's why this guy was in the and
that's
his
why we
student
don't do
came from
anything.
the
But see what get pissed off.
his name was Alexander.
But
Very
then
well,
it's
he was
changed
a
now.
politician who was very active. He was the executive council of Usman and Fodio, running farming was to Kharkiv, the largest, most powerful state in 19th century West Africa. They held the sacred title of the Saddam Mountain. In 1949, as Nigeria was very much early political party, the Northern People's Congress (NPC) won the federal elections. By all standard democratic rules, Bello should have become the prime minister. But because he said no, he looked at the prime minister's office and decided it was delusional. Why would he go down to Lagos to run the messy, fractured federal government when people said this state was capital of Kaduna? And they were not, which times the largest, most powerful state in India. Okay, so now the prime minister was the jaw for security. And so he sent Bali aside. This is the gentleman's hand that bettered me. The servant's son sitting in Lagos, answering to the aristocrat sitting in Kaduna. Nigerian system was supposed to be made with things. However, as prime minister, was the face of the federal government. But Ahmed Bello remained the absolute passionate leader of the Lagos hospital. This structure meant that I couldn't make a single individual of the move without Bello's blessing. However, but Bello helped us. And Bello actually restricted his priorities. In fact, back in 1953, during a bitter debate in the former House of Representatives, he stood up and delivered the line later called the most important political speech of his life. Quote, this case of 1914 has come to an end actually likely to go that far. He was brutally blunt about his modernization policy. In a famous television interview, he openly admitted he would rather hire a foreign expatriate on a temporary contract than give a permanent job to a Nigerian from the south.
Is this policy of filling all key posts in the north solely with northerners and not with other Nigerians a temporary or permanent one?
In actual fact, what it is a northerner plus. If you can't get a northerner, then we take an expatriate like yourself on contract.
Yet, despite the real mass, the massive oil wealth resting on its wrist, and a ruling party leader who openly called the country a mistake, Nigeria pushed forward. October 1st, 1960, the race course in Lagos. Tens of thousands of Nigerians packed in the corners. Princess Alexandra of Kent stands beside my wall. Victor Olaiya's highlight band is playing. The air is absolutely electric. Before the new flag is even blazed, a deeply symbolic moment happens. Three prayers are offered simultaneously by the Anglican Bishop of Lagos, the Catholic Archbishop, and the Chief Imam. It is the portrait of a massive, diverse nation built on faith finally seizing its moment. At the stroke of midnight, the floor is dim. When they snap back on, the British Union Jack is gone. Misplaced flags the flag of green and white. I lost steps up to the microphone. His voice carries across the sprawling wasteland and broadcasting out of the golden set in tiny villages to surfaces and the These days later, Nigeria is formally admitted to the United Nations. The South African walks into the General Assembly as the undisputed leader of the nation. Standing by to all of this, this is the finance the man who walks into every room and been waiting for his love, his commitment, and he is a bureaucratic force of nature. He is the man who single-handedly built the Central Bank of Nigeria, established the stock exchange, and introduced the first national currency. This is the high water mark. It is always the maximum hope, maximum excitement, and maximum potential. Take a good look at it. Remember exactly how this feels. Remember
Today, May 4th. Well, when I came here, I showed up at this meeting right
the independent government's first real test then comes from the political level. Because of the streets, very deep inside the mountain of independence and agreement is something called the Anglo-Nigerian Defense Plan. It is a quiet little treaty that essentially lets the British military maintain permanent access to Nigerian soil. When Nigerians university students figure this out, they are absolutely furious. In late 1960, over 1,000 students from the University College of Ghana swarmed the streets and stormed the federal capital. They demanded the immediate and unconditional removal of the British military presence. And here's the Baliwa actually listens. The political pressure is too intense. As one German the defense part is officially revoked. It is a rare freedom moment where the federal government actually bows to the agreement. But in London, the British are happy. And back home, the taxi machine operating between Kaduna and Lagos only flies and moves officials' expenditure. To understand the two governments happens indicates the land who poses the biggest threat to the entire system without
It's the demons that may not want you to hear this, but
Chief Obafemi Awolowo is the head of the Western region, and by any objective metric, he is the most capable, forward-thinking administrator in Nigeria. 1955, he introduces free universal primary education in the West, the very first program of this kind anywhere in Africa. He builds state-of-the-art hospitals, he builds roads, he constructs foreign industrial estates. He is exactly the kind of leader you would want running in any independent. But there is a massive problem. Awolowo is also the leader of national opposition, and one of the mass that is 174 parliamentary locked in the north and 160 in the west. The federal government is statistically guaranteed to be managed which means the most capable administrator in the country is fundamentally automatically barred from entering.
My name is Eric, and I'm very happy to be able to come to Lifeline Traders today and its professionals, and I've actually learned lots from the 2 years
Now we're back to 1960. What was the action group forming fractions? His own deputy, a man named Simon Akintola, challenges him for control of the wealthy Western region. Akintola is there is a conflict. He wants the power for himself. Because he displays business against it gets physical. On May 25, 1962, on the floor of the Western House of Assembly, all hell elected legislators are literally getting each other with chairs. The heavy ceremonial music is pushed up and swung as a weapon. Prime Minister Balewa watches this chaos unfold from the radio. You have a choice. You can act as a dictator and then the Western Union sort out this one in a mess, or you can speak. Well, it's right. But he's not acting as a neutral referee. On May 29, 1960, Balewa declares the foreign state of emergency in the Western region. Just like that, the most effective opposition in Nigeria is placed entirely on the federal government. Balewa knows exactly what he is solidly removing the one politician in the country who has both the confidence and the raw ambition to challenge the next government. He's doing all of this because of the
Me and God like so. You go cry. You go just go also.
This country was not meant to be useful.
was found completely
Not the president of the Nepal.
like his response was to simply call Islam national in the eastern region, and he won because he was technically indispensable to manage the place. He stand out just bounce right on. In fact, he failed but was so successful that he eventually ascended to become the ceremonial president of the entire country. So by 1962, the brutal pattern of Nigeria's government is locked in place. Corruption exists everywhere, but justice is entirely selective. The system will look the other for millions of pounds, and yes, you are the one leader who will actually threaten the balance of power. And with our one now sitting in the prison cell, there is one fewer voice left to hold the emergency brake on what happens next. You see, in Nigeria, there is one rule that dictates absolutely everything else. Population equals power. It is simple. The brutal equation, right? The region in the most volume this system. This is determining who gets to form the government. And governments controls the money. The system running a census isn't just the biggest count. It's the most important policy of government in the country. It is the foundation of everything. So in the highly charged paranoid atmosphere of 1962, and this this very first prison on paper, the exercise was simple. Only for the very first time, the North has fought for glory for Israel. They are sitting at exactly 4 which means the region can no longer live in an outright separation. Remember, those countries before locked in by the military. Well, this new number was over, and the karma has to be deployed. The core logic of modern politics the exact reason another was stayed in Katrina and sent Azora is suddenly so, what does Prime Minister Biden do? Yeah, he cancels the results in time. He still orders a brand new nation and sense of identity. And this mission was finally in the Joe House somehow, in a single year, the North has managed to magically add 7.8 million people to its population. Now, in a region where national debt rates cannot even come close to explaining that kind of explosion, this figure isn't just funny. Michael Opera, a premier of the Eastern region, publicly called the new figures, quote, worse than useless. It is fast to desperate legal challenge to stop the non-ones from being satisfied. The Supreme Court throws the case away. They claim the court simply lacks the jurisdiction to interfere with the administrative functions of the federal government. This brings us to the breaking point for our global. Reject 1966, come to America, they sat down and the man who made him, I'm telling you to his face that he knows us and was out. For two, accept the answer. Those and foundation knows is entirely which is you can almost feel the walls closing in on you. Almost all of them in stark contrast to the man of experience. Here is a leader who is public concern on how man who literally goes to nothing about his fears right healing through moral which apparently isn't very difficult to do if understanding the senses based on online. Now, the backstory to all this is Muhammad Hijab is already benefiting from the single lawsuit to The parliamentary seats
And now
based on
he's suing
the
God London.
following.
And
The
Oregon
seats
has
ever
called
only
this
government
the
fund
Harvard job
using this
has
seat
come
is
up
in
with
if the
to keep
government
the video down. And we would have
every
to go to
single
court
town,
and win the case
every
in order
order,
for the video to go down.
every place,
Okay. Yeah. And he's suing him here in
everything down
California.
to him. 90% of doesn't just government
So guys, let me. I've been quiet. Sorry, I've just been trying to understand the story of what's happening on Gold right now. Thank you. So Gold is looking. The story is changing. So some bullish move. So
thugs block the doors of registration offices. Corrupt returning officers flat out refuse to accept the position of paperwork. In dozens of districts, when voters show up, there is only one thing printed on the ballot. The ruling party's candidates.
so look at the story of what I'm seeing changing. Initially, yesterday, this zone was an area of interest for a bank. This zone, the price violated it and tested it, which made it return to our area of resistance. Made it here, this zone. Sorry, I wasn't using my mouse. Here was the level of support we were expecting by what it failed, which made it turn to our level of resistance. That was why we were looking for sales around here and we position our limit orders here to after the sweep of this liquidity, like we're going to be positioning here. But then whilst waiting for price to reach our area of interest, like we noticed some sort of like crazy momentum coming in, and at the same time DXY was like losing strength, which is dollar because us selling we are dependent that we are dependent that if we say we're selling, we're banking on the US dollar strength to have strength, but then I saw it dropping hard, and at the same time I saw like this momentum coming, which made us abort the we had of selling here, right? Then and then that was what led to that. So now this is the whole idea. From the daily time frame, it's still looking bearish, right? But from the 4-hour and lower time frame, it's looking there's this internal shift of structure from our 4-hour, 1 hour. So now that's why I've been quiet trying to like figure out, because right now here was the support it failed, where now is the resistance that's supposed to push price down. Now it has failed again, which brings this same zone, which bring this same zone down to be our now level of support. Number one for this push to the upside. Like the 50% retracement happens to be around that same level we're like hoping to buy yesterday before it got violated. Number two. Number three is we could see that like how many highs were taking out, higher lows. Here was taken out, here was taken out, here was taken out with a body closure, which now indicates to us that like trend has changed, which made us to use our tool to look for the retracements for the buys, and we'll be looking at price retesting to this level, this zone, and then any indication will buy. Mind you, there is news, FOMC news coming in some few hours, so hopefully then this is it for the 4-hour. And if you look at the daily, if at all price is coming, it's coming to kind of like, it's coming to take, this is the major resistance from the daily. So if this buy is coming, remember we said price is still looking bearish from the daily. When price closes above here, as the full indication from the daily perspective of the bull takeover. And then we still wouldn't be safe before the more price comes to this level, this high gets taken out. Like there's a sell zone here, there's a sell zone here, because why? There's a whole lot of liquidity riding around here, showing for some sort of sales here. To position for some sort of sales here.
The original zone on the region, even before the city of Wuhan has even been founded, the people of the Russian region pushed past it. They have watched their best region of